Richard, and this is Marcintosh. This is Compact Max. I've got a bunch of machines here that I have been working on over the past couple weeks. Got a Mac Plus that I actually started work on during the previous stream, which unfortunately was a couple weeks ago now, and I have been trying to get another stream scheduled here, so I'm glad I'm finally back on. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 SE30s, a couple SEs, and then a classic and no, those are both classic 2s, but I think there's also a classic. So it's a lot of machines. They all look similar, but they are of course several different models. And so what I'm going to do in this stream is it's kind of finish up what I started on many of this, because I've done a lot of work on them so far, and at this point I just need to I need to wrap up the final steps with as many of these as possible, get them reassembled, and stop having shelves full of computer parts. I don't know if the camera will pan over here. So you can see these are all each of these red wires here is is connected to an anode cap. So these are all analog boards. There's 5 here. There's one in this machine back here on the floor that it's not quite showing, and then I've got 3 more on the test bench over here, which I can show you right here. These 3. So this is what I'm going to start with here, and then I've got logic boards, power supplies, other stuff to work on. So I was hoping I would be able to finish up the Plus, which is this one here, today, but unfortunately it has a couple of caps that I do not have in inventory. I ordered a lot of different things from DigiKey, but I failed to order one, or actually possibly, let's see here. It's the 1000 microfarad 35 volt, which it needs 3 of those, and then 100 microfarad 200 volt, and it needs 2 of those. So until I get those, which will be this week, I can't quite finish it, but I do have one more cap that I did get here that I can go ahead and solder on now. So just to review, let me switch to that bench there. So there is on a Plus logic board, there are 3 RIFA caps right here, here, and here. And this is actually the same logic board as the OG Mac and the 512K models. And so because RIFA caps are useless at this point if they're that old, they kind of explode if you're not aware. And I don't recall whether the ones on here had done that yet, or were about to, but I didn't really give it the chance to try that. But I'm replacing them with these ceramic caps. So these are the safety caps, which is why you find them usually near the AC input here. And so these ceramics will do the same job, and they don't have the inherent problem that RIFAs have, although my understanding is they can get really hot, and that's what will kill these, although I imagine high heat would probably damage the RIFAs as well. Interestingly, regular electrolytic caps like this style typically don't, or they typically do have a temperature rating, and on these older ones, this one says, well, it should say, let's see. Yeah, of course, the one I pick as an example doesn't say it, but one of these will. I'm sure this one will. 85 degrees Celsius here on these blue ones down here. And so these ones I didn't replace. Several of these I didn't replace, and actually I replaced probably quite a few that I didn't need to necessarily. They weren't leaking, and I got a little bit overzealous with taking them off and testing them, and at that point it wasn't really worth putting the old ones back on, so I just got some new ones. So let me get this iron warmed up here, and then so I'm going to add this one more, and this is replacing the big RIFA, and that RIFA was definitely cracked. I should have grabbed. I'd have to dig through a bag of caps over there, I think, to find. Yeah, I don't think I have some of these boards. I put all the caps in a Ziploc with it, but I don't think I did for this one. So anyway, so these ceramics are they're not polarized, so there's no plus or minus. That's why the legs are the same length here, the leads. And in fact, on the board, these ones are not even marked with a positive or negative because it doesn't really matter. So I got to get the leads a bit wider here to fit this spot. Tidier here. Okay. Oops. Nobody's going to think that it came this way. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So let me just get this last one on here, and then I'm going to put this one aside until I get those other caps again, which should be this week. And then that's the last that this board needs, and then this absolutely pristine Platinum Mac Plus can start up, and we can see how the CRT looks and everything. I'm pretty confident it's going to be nice. I'm not going to use any flux to put this on because it really doesn't need it, I don't think. And I got this brilliant little spool of solder here that's got a little thing here that feeds it, and hopefully this is going to make it so I'm not constantly going, where did I put the solder? Okay. Oh, actually, I guess I didn't solder several of these back on. And I'll mention here in a second a couple of other things about this analog board, but let's get that one on. That one on. This is a lovely smell, but I think I'll turn on the extractor here. And then, so these are the other ones that I had put in place but hadn't actually soldered in. Let me get this a little better there. Try to cover the entire land. Land, which I recently learned is on through-hole soldering, is the word rather than pad, which is what we call on the surface-mounted ones. Okay, and there's one more over here. And get that done. And then the other thing that I did off stream is any more here? Is I reflowed this entire board. So the solder maybe looks a little bit more kind of bubbly than how it looked from the factory, but that's because I used the desoldering gun here, sucked the existing solder off one point at a time, and then just used the iron at the end of the gun there to put fresh solder in place. And that's because a lot of these solder joints on these analog boards are known to dry out and kind of crack and lose their continuity, which then causes the board to behave strangely. For example, on my other Plus, I had a problem where the screen would no longer show an image once the computer warmed up, or it may not have even correlated with temperature, but basically it was intermittently wouldn't show an image. And then if I turn the computer on its side, then suddenly I would have the screen would come back on. And it turned out it was because the solder joint was, some solder joint somewhere on the board was not very good anymore. And so it was connected, but it wasn't securely connected. And so when I turned it on its side, gravity kind of, pulled it into place, and sort of, pushed the metal together, so there was closed circuit there, and then it worked again. So I do need to, before I put this back together, I do need to inspect for any solder bridges here, but I think I looked over it pretty well, and so I think it is good to go, and I don't believe I missed any. My desoldering gun kind of quit working right just at the end of this project. Actually, I see some right here in the middle that I may not have redone. And when I say quit working, what happened was the tip got, there's a few I want to just touch up here. The tip got jammed, and I'm just going to do it with this, with something inside of it, which I fought with it for a long time, could not get it out. And so eventually I gave up and ordered a new one, which I now have. And so I will use that. Yeah, here's a bridge right there that shouldn't be there. Clear that up. So I'm going to go through this under the microscope, or the close-up camera, I guess. It's not really a microscope. Just trying to sort of clean these. And maybe not create new bridges in the process would be an excellent idea. And that one's a little messy. These are all things where I'm sure it's going to work, and all of these connections are certainly better than the original from the 80s. It's old solder. It's probably nobody was expecting it to be somebody to be using it this far into the 21st century. I have a feeling that they had in mind that these were going to be used in the 80s and maybe the 90s, and honestly, they were used into the 90s, as relatively useless as they were by then. But prior to needing to always be online, it turns out that pretty much basic stuff like word processing was not a reason to buy a new computer, because it worked pretty well on the old one. Okay, so I think that's on that. So I can kind of see where there's a little bit of flux that got released when I redid these, and that's how I can tell which ones I didn't redo. There were just a couple of them when the thing got jammed. So I'm not going to worry about those because they're all looking pretty good. And I know where to look if I need to troubleshoot it, but I think this board is going to work just fine. So what I've got left, as I said, is those, where's my list here? Those 3,000 microfarad and 200 microfarad. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then the other 3 were these REFAs that got replaced with ceramics. And so at this point, the board will be good to go as soon as I get those other ones on here. So let me put this one aside and let's move on to these other 2 analog boards. And these ones I've already fully recapped. There's just a little project that I need to finish up here with these. And I had the parts. Where did I put it? Let's see, I think I put one up here, didn't I? No, it's one of the old ones. So I took these old fans that were mounted on these analog boards, and I'm replacing them with quiet, modern Noctua ones. And if I can find, I had one out here. I had one ready to go. What did I do with it? Oh, that's right in front of my face. Okay, then let me grab one more here. I have one more that I haven't used. Let's see. Wow, it's already been used. One of these will be. I need. Oh, wait a minute. There's 6 here. Okay, no, I got over here. I didn't have quite enough when I did the first batch here. Okay, so as a reference for how to do this, these are just, it's a 12-volt fan. It's the right size, which is 60 by 25 millimeters. And it has a modern connector, like a modern, motherboard would use, which of course this motherboard doesn't have. But the way that these original ones were installed, so the fan goes over here, somehow over there, and so it stands up like this, and then that vents out the back of the computer. And then the way that they were wired is like this. They used hot glue here, here, and here. There's some remnants of it there. And then they ran these wires, and they were soldered into little holes right there and right here. So in front of this connector, where the appropriate voltage or ground or whatever was there. And honestly, hot glue and doing it this way is not very elegant, and running the wire all the way across the board is not very elegant. So I think the way that I've redone them here is pretty elegant, which is to use this, which is a hard drive power connector adapter. And this adapter will connect right there to the hard drive power supply, which just happens to be literally right here next to the fan. And so it's an ideal location for it, and also so there's not wires going across the board, and also it brings the connector here out a little bit from the board, which makes it easier to reach when you're reaching through the case behind the CRT. So all around it seems like a better solution. So let me get where's my screwdriver here? Let me get this off of here, and we'll get the fan installed here. And so I did all but 2 of these already. I was short 2 fans, or let's see, maybe I was only short 1 fan, but I couldn't find one of these brackets, and I just found it again today when I was doing it. But I didn't look at the time because I didn't have a fan to put on the bracket, so it kind of didn't matter. So what I do is I wrap this cable around. It has to go in just the right direction. I wrap it all the way around the fan like this, which is a really tight squeeze when I cram it onto the bracket here. But it does work. And then let's see, there it goes that way. Okay, so this mounts on here like this mounts on here like this, and the airflow goes this way. So it mounts basically at the bottom like this, and then this connector is right here where this thing is, and so then I just connect that. So let me see if I can do this without cursing. Actually, it's been a few days since I did this, so I forgot. What I usually do is get these, put the screws in first, which then gets the cords kind of pinched in place where they go. This one's really tight squeeze. These cords are very well insulated and protected, so the screws are not damaging them. I wouldn't recommend moving the screws around too much once it's installed, but just squeezing it past there once, that works okay. So this kind of keeps the connector right where it needs to be, and then this goes on. Oh, that back. This one is in the wrong place, and that explains why it was harder to push in than normal, and that's because it is thicker insulation right there than the place where it really needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the correct. Oh yeah, it goes right in the hole when it's the right one. Okay, so now I'm just going to force this in place here and get this screw. And part of this is it's a little tight because the it's a little tight because the cord is wrapped around it, but I think the bigger issue is they use this, whatever this green glue is here, and they glued the screws. And so when I took the screws out, they didn't come out willingly usually. And I had the ones that hold the fan onto the bracket I didn't have a problem with, but the ones that hold the bracket onto the board, I had a definite problem with one of those. Sorry, this is the most frustrating part of this. Once I get this screw to go in the hole, there we go. Okay, now this screwdriver doesn't want to do this. It's a little bit tight, so let me see if I can find a somewhere I have a Phillips bit. I know I do right there. Okay, so I'm just going to screw these the rest of the way in by hand here. Use the drill, but just 2 screws, right? Okay, and now the Plus analog board does not have a fan. The Plus was a fanless machine, just like the original Mac and the 512, and that was one of, as the story goes, one of Steve Jobs' sort of personal requirements for the Macintosh. He really, really didn't want it to have a fan in it, which, you know, obviously is better not to if you can avoid it, but you don't want to damage the computer by having more heat than it should have in it, you know. So in hindsight, it might have been better to have a, you know, fairly quiet fan, because anything would be better than nothing. But it did open up a third-party accessory market, I guess, for fans. So, all right. This is going to get screwed. So there's one screw here that broke off. The head of the screw broke off when I took it out. Again, it's because of this green glue, which sort of turns into, I don't know, it's a hard plastic. It's not a pleasant substance. And I imagine time probably made it worse than it was when it was new. Much like what happens with the plastic of the cases of these machines, especially the newer 90s cases. Okay. So get these started, they're easy, but getting them to line up is not always easy. Okay. Go. So I'm not going to worry about the, oops, I had it in there. I'm not going to worry about this fourth screw because this fan is quiet, and it's also it's got little rubber nubs around where the screws are, which keep it in place. Okay, so that screw, either I didn't get it all the way in, or it doesn't actually grip anymore. Okay, I just didn't have it all the way in. So the fan is not going to vibrate that much, even as it is. So I'm not worried about that fourth screw. It's really not going to be an issue. Okay, so there we go. So that one's mounted here, and then to connect the power, again, it just plugs right in there. So instead of going literally all the way over here, it goes all the way there. So it's almost a question of what to do with this extra cable length. Obviously, I don't want the cable in front of the fan where the blades could cut it or it could make noise. So I kind of wrap it around there. And then once the power supply is mounted on here, that'll kind of hold it in place. So it should be fine, I think. And I actually do have one machine that I have already turned on and used for an hour or two with this new fan setup. Okay, so this one's done. All the recapping is done. There's one odd thing, and this applies also to the Plus, even though it's a different style board. This cap right here is an old one. I did not replace that cap, and the reason is that it is a non-polarized cap. And normally, like I mentioned when I put that ceramic on the Plus board, those are non-polarized. But normally these electrolytics like this, wherever the white stripe is, like there, that's the negative side. And there's a little plus. I don't know if you can see it there. This one has a plus, but it's meaningless because it's a non-polarized cap. But beyond being non-polarized, it's also 3.9 microfarads. Some of them I think might have been 3.3 and 35 volts, and that's just not a common value for capacitors that are being made now. So they're very hard to replace. I did find something that could have worked in place of it, but it was a ceramic and it was way too big, like way too big. And I got other ones that have longer leads. They're just as big, but I could relocate it. But ultimately, I decided to just put the old ones back on because, you know, really, as I said, these don't necessarily need to be recapped. But I feel like some of them did have a little bit of a leak, and I just want to put the old ones back on. This board in particular, this is probably the cleanest anode cap that I've seen. If you don't know what the anode cap, that's what what connects to the CRT. And this is the flyback here. This is the extremely high voltage comes out of here. And so when the machine is powered on, and even when the machine is powered off, don't touch that until you've discharged it. It's really not a good idea. Okay, so here's one of these old ones, and we're going to see what my mileage is here getting this out with this horrible green glue. Well, that actually is fairly cooperative. Let's see how this one is. Okay, I'm really glad this one was easier than the rest because I really didn't want to curse on the stream here. And I had some choice words for the other ones. Okay, so that is the old fan, and again, you can see where the glue held it in place like this. I mean, it's just such a not elegant solution. So that goes in the trash, e-waste. And then let me just clean this dust off of here. Fan. And then let me get these out. I just put the screws back in so that they wouldn't get lost. And so I remember which ones go where, because I do tend to lose. Well, I don't necessarily lose the screws. I have all the screws, but when I take a machine like this apart, I have a container full of screws, and they all look very similar, and I don't know where they go. And sometimes even when the threading is the same, they're different length or something like that. In particular, with the case screws for these Compact Macs, the problem is that you have the same threading for the screws that are buried way deep in the handle on top that hold the case shut as the screws that go around in the corners of the CRT to hold it in place. And unfortunately, well, I've never done it, but if you use the longer screws that go inside the handle, where you should be using the shorter one around the screen, you could end up busting through the plastic, and that would not be a good thing. Like I said, the plastic is already kind of brittle, so okay, yeah, it goes on this way. I have to remind myself every time. Okay, so I need a screw in this corner. That's the easy one, and then this corner, which is less convenient. And I've done this so many times that I should know. I think when I was doing them all back to back, I knew exactly which corner the screws went in, exactly which way to mount it. But it's been a few days since I did the other 7 or so of these. Okay, there we go. Okay, and that's going to go one more time. It's going to go like this. This is going to go like this. Okay, I did get them right. Okay, so this one was harder the last time, so I'm going to try to do it first while the thing is a little bit more loose. And sorry, I'm not necessarily getting this on camera very well, but second here. Okay, so that's one, and this one. Hopefully. It's very close. I think I got it. There we go. Okay. This is almost done. Put this on the board, and then these boards, as I say, the rest of the recapping is done. They were just waiting for these fans. And so then these can go ahead and get installed in the computers. It'll be really nice to not have them taking up that entire shelf anymore. And it'll make room for more, because there's an endless supply of machines. Okay, not endless, but I've got, I don't want to admit how many machines I still have queued up for recapping here. Okay, and this one has all 4 screws. So only the last one that I just did was the only one where one of the screws actually broke off. was a close call with some of the other ones, though. That green glue is just, it's really something. If their purpose was to make it never ever be able to be removed ever until the end of time, they did a pretty good job. It's no match for me, but it's a pretty good job. Okay, so I think actually these are not needing resistance. I can do it the easy way like this. I recently got this power screwdriver because the drill turns too fast even when you've got it on slower speed, and even when you have the torque adjusted all the way down, it's still kind of too much for some of these things. So this thing is made for this sort of work and doesn't ruin things. Okay, so but it's not very strong, which is why I had to do that last part by hand. Okay, the just checking the solder in here, looks fine to me. The ones I redid are not. So a couple of them aren't beautiful, but they are solidly in place. So I think that one's good to go. Okay. Of course, I still have the soldering iron on, even though I'm not soldering now. And the annoying extractor. Okay, so let me put this fan box away here. And that is it for prepping these boards, and now they can actually be put together. So let's start with, well, actually, hang on. Shouldn't speak so soon. I'm going to do an SE rather than an SE30, and the SE, so here's an SE logic board, and this is, okay, so this is the SE logic board, which is so much simpler than the SE30. I'm just looking for any evidence of electrolytic leaking, and I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing some dust. This is a ESD safe brush. This is not creating a static charge on the electronics here. Probably can't see the dust in the camera. Really, this is just dust that is around the components where I didn't get it, just quickly dusting it. Okay. Between the RAM. All right, so this machine, let me just make sure I've got this in the database here before I put it back together. Let's see, this is components, and okay, try that one more time. Okay, logic board is there. Serial number ends with 83, that's correct. Okay, and then it's linked with the machine, ends with a 4. So I'm putting it back in the right machine. That's this one here. Okay. What I don't have in the database is a photo of the board, so let me just really quickly grab a picture of this. I don't know which way is up. Whatever, that's good enough. And I'm just going to screen grab it right out of the stream here. Second. It's not so much a picture because I don't know what an SE analog board looks like. It's more about just documenting so I can see what's in there, if it's a different revision of the board or something like that. Okay, so that is in the database now, and that goes in this machine. And then let me see this machine. Just hang on, let me go. That is this one, and I want to see which analog board goes in it. Okay, so this one, the analog board is analog board 300381. Might be one of the ones I just did. It's 342377. Okay, gotta find that. And then the other thing that I forgot to do that I really enjoy doing. This is kind of the reward for all the time I spent recapping these things, is to put the little recap sticker on them. Because there are notes in the database that I've recapped them, but I don't know, somehow it just makes me feel better to actually put the sticker on the board. And in this case, I actually have been putting the stickers on the fan bracket there because it's easier to spot. These boards, when they're installed behind the CRT, you can't see a whole lot of the board very easily. Okay, so there. Recap 2024. All right. So it's not one of these. So let me, what was that number again? That goes with this machine. Not that it matters which board goes in which machine, but I just try to keep them together. I don't know if it's OCD 300381. Okay, this is 54381. This is the one that goes with it. And let me just put these up here since they're done. And I might as well put the plus away until I get those 5 remaining caps. Okay. So this one, let's see, I need the, just pick this up from, okay. I should have a little bag of parts for reattaching this. Once I put it inside there, it's not rattling, so what is this board number? 382. Usually I write the number down on the bag. This is not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, wait a minute. I've been writing the computer number on these. Okay, so that might be different. That one doesn't even have a number. I try to keep this stuff organized, but I probably could do a better job. Not that one. 438. Oh, that's caps that I pulled off something. Oh, here's one that I wrote IDK, so I'm going to assume it goes with this one. Except, just making sure this is the same. Yeah, I guess all the cords are actually the same between the SE and the SE30, so it doesn't really matter. But this has power supply screws. Oh, that's the other point. So the power supplies, I probably have not recapped this one's power supply or even a compatible power supply for it yet. I do have one in the other machine, but I did one of those the other day and it does not take very long. So if I have to, of course, I'm trying to unscrew where there is no screw. And now the bit just gets jammed in there. Okay, there we go. I only put screws in the bottom of these when they were just being put together temporarily. I'm sorry I'm doing this off camera here. Guess I can switch to this. Here. Okay. So this is the case I'm taking apart here. And I know this is the world's longest screw bit. It's because it's for the ones that are deep inside the handle here. It requires that long bit to reach them. Okay, so that's off of there now. This is the trick, is to get this off of here. It's been open recently, so it wasn't as bad. Let's see, maybe I did leave. Oh, I did not leave the parts in here. Okay, let me get that off of there. All right, so this machine does not have the power supply in it. I need to find its power supply, or a power supply. Just look up number the power supply is. It's 380. Which might be one of these. 380 right there on top. Okay. So basically there's three parts of this machine that have gotten serviced, and that would be the analog board. Sorry, I'm on the wrong camera. So three parts of this machine: the analog board here, power supply there, and the logic board here. So I'm going to put the boards out of the way, and I'm going to actually just set the cover back on this machine. I carelessly broke the vacuum seal on a CRT a couple weeks ago. So I've been trying to keep them covered up as much as I can for safety. Okay, so this power supply, I took the caps off of it already. I remember. There we go. So I already took the caps off, and I have the caps to put on it. And so this one, so I can't. It's hard to tell, and I'm not sure that it's always one or the other with these, but there's, like, you can see on that one right there, you can kind of see where it's what appears to be a leak. It's kind of dried and crusty, and so I don't know if that's cap juice or if that is glue that was on there. I think in this case it might have been cap juice. Anyway, to be safe, I took those off. Yeah, this one looks like it had some leaks. So anyway, these, being as old as they are, it didn't seem like a bad thing to just replace these capacitors, because it's kind of the pastime of the what do they call it? The feeding and care of an old Macintosh. Okay, so there are. Making sure this is not refa. Okay, these are good. Okay, so we've got a little dusty, but otherwise it looks fine. So we've got a bunch of caps here that this needs, and I've got my list. This is the Sony version of the power supply. CR44 is what they call it. Let me get my list here. That's the Aztec list. That's the Hitachi list. Where is the... Tell me I don't have this list. Would be very annoying. Okay, so maybe I don't have this list. Okay, let me just look up a list then. I'm betting that Steve from Mac84 has it on his wonderful website. Sony CR44 recap. And this is I think this is a 110/220 auto switching, which means I don't have to worry. If that's the case, then I don't have to worry about if it's the correct version. Probably the power supply would have a different part number, actually, if they were different versions, but somewhere it'll say, here it'll say. This says input 100 to 240, 50, 60 hertz. So that's there. So where is our list here? CapsWiki, SE30. See, yeah, right there. There is the power supply. Okay. That is a random number right there. Let me just see if I have that one, because that'll be a deal breaker right now if I don't. Let's see here. Let's see. So one of these caps is a 620 microfarad 400 volt. 620 400. So I'm just looking. Yep, 620 400 right there. Okay. So I do have those. So now it's a matter of finding them. So let me see if you can see the finding process here. Oops. Okay. So I've got a few different kinds of caps here. You wouldn't think there would be that many different values in these machines, but for the number of different models I'm working on here, there have been. So Um, 620 40 or 400 is C162. Let me see. Okay, so that's the huge one that goes right. Of course, I'm on the wrong camera. That's the huge one that goes right here, which means it should be very easy to find because there aren't that many huge ones. That's slightly less huge. Might be this one. This is 680 450. That might be the one. Let's see. That might be a substitute. Yep, 680 450 instead of 620 400. The 450 is no problem. The voltage is an upper limit, not a meaningful whatever. The capacitance, the microfarads, is an important number, but in this case, 680 will work in place of 620 because that is the nearest I could get. And I'm pretty sure if I check, so console 5 is console 5 wiki CR44. Console 5 makes kits of caps. And sometimes there are substitutions. Let's see, that's CR44M. So it's the same thing. Okay. This one says the original 620 main filter cap will be replaced with a similar value such as 680. So there we go. I take that as it's okay to use that because that's what the kit comes with. Okay, so these are polarized, and I'm assuming the dot means positive. Oh shoot, and I forgot this has, okay, I'm gonna have to bend one of these legs. Oh, wait a minute. No, the dot means negative. Okay, so wrong camera here once again. So here you can see the little positive, which means it needs to go in this orientation because the white stripe is negative. However, because of the shape of those versus the shape of these, which is directly opposite, I need to turn one of them. So this one can go straight in, and I need to turn. Let's see. Actually, no. Maybe wrong about that. Okay, this should be. Oh, this is going to be a struggle. Okay. Let me try to turn this one and see what happens. Where's my pliers that I could do that with? Of course, those pliers aren't here. There's different pliers. Okay. I've got the minus here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to turn the minus and see what happens. If it'll even turn. Yeah. Seems to be turning. Hoping I'm not damaging the cap by doing that. Okay. Let's see if that's turned enough. As it turns out, it is. Look at that. They are definitely at the very end of the little slots. They're not the wide prongs that the original one had, but they are where they need to be. So I will be able to solder that in place, and it should work just fine. So waiting for the soldering iron to heat up. Let me see what other caps I need for this one. See if I can get my cap list to be on the screen at the same time as Streamlabs here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to need 10, 25s, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, and I know I have those. I have lots of those, but sometimes it's hard to find the label. Okay, this is a 47. 1025, I'm sure I ordered. It should be at high quantity. This is 22025. Well, let's do it another way. Let me look up if the bags I'm finding are what I need, because that's actually kind of what matters here. Okay, so CR44. Okay, so this is 220 25 volts. That is not used here. 2200 and 22, but no 220. Wrong number of digits. Okay, 1500. It's not used here. 4763. We have a 4725. So I might use that, but I probably got 4725s here. This is 47. That looks familiar. 4725. Okay, and then so I'm not going to use that one. Okay, and this is 1500. We're not using that. Sorry, this is, I'm sure, just riveting entertainment here. I don't believe there are any REFA type here. Yeah, I don't think there are any on here. Okay, so that's not using that. Okay, here we go. 1016. Don't have that one. It's film. Don't think it's this one. 47200. Now, hang on. Just thinking that analog, the ones I said I didn't have for that, those are not. Those are 100, 200, I think. Let's check. 100, 200. Never mind. That was for the plus board there. Just hoping maybe I had them when I didn't think I did. 160. Nope. I know the soldering iron's heated up. I'm just getting ready here. 1025. There's no 10s. Okay, this is 33, which we don't use. Sorry, I should have been better prepared for this. 22, yes, 22, 25. This is 2235, so that'll work. This is 125, 116, so that'll work. That's a ceramic. Those aren't being used here. 135. Wait a minute. 135. Isn't that what I just had here? No, wait a minute. 125. Okay. 125. Those ones were less expensive, so use those. Okay, that is a tan one. That's for a logic board. This is 3335. We're not using that. So the pain will be over soon. 1025, no. 150, no. Unusual one. 820 is an unusual one. So there's one power supply design here. It's the Hitachi that has these really weird numbers. Caps that basically I had to order probably half the caps for that power supply. I had to order specifically for that because nothing else that I have that I'm working on right now uses any of those. 100. Well, here's 116. I was going to use the 125. So I might just, because what it really needs is 116. So it could be, excuse me, it could be either of those. Okay, and then I've got 2200. Yes, we're using that. That's for this one. This is 3.3. I'm not using. This is 470. No, 4700. This is 470. I'm running out of caps here. I'm not sure I'm going to have everything this board needs, or this power supply needs, in which case I'll use one of the other ones. Okay, 2225, this is 2263, so that'll work. This is 220 and 10. Not using that. I don't even know what this one is. 4720. It's mostly for logic. Oh, these are surface mount anyway. I'm really running out here. Okay, 1035. No. 120.35. No. 270. That's probably for that oddball Hitachi. No, that's for an Aztec. Some of these I have labeled what they're for. Okay, 220.16. Nope. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have everything this one needs. Okay, 4700. That one's, well, 4716. And these are ceramics. I'm not sure that that's going to be a suitable replacement. This is 4710, which is not what this needs. Okay, I'm almost out, and these are big ones now. 4735. Okay. These are big ones. So 4700 is on 257. 257. 257. I don't. Well, yeah, that would fit. Just barely. Okay. This is 680, 450. That needs 620, 400. Oh, that's, never mind. That's the one I just grabbed. Okay, and this is 330, which this doesn't use. Okay, so I don't think I have all of them. However, I may have some already on hand. Okay, so so I've got that one. And you have 4.7350. That's very specific, and I don't think I found that one. 4.7350. 4.7. No, 2200. This is 22. That's 22. Okay. So what did I say? 4.7. 350. 0.47. 47, 470, 47, but that's 6.3. Yeah, no, this is going to be one of those bigger filter caps, so I don't think I have that. Let me just pull up DigiKey and see if it was in my order here. This will be a showstopper for this power supply if I don't have that one. So I'm hoping I do. This was 4.7. Yeah, I didn't order anything that was 4.7 value. So I don't have that. Let me see if there's anything else I don't have, because let's see, 116. Let me just make sure. Hold on, that 4.7. Let me just make sure that's not one that I left on. No, it's those two. And there's not a lot of evidence of leaking under them. I might be able to pull those out of the used ones if I didn't smash them too much, pulling them off the board. Okay, 116, I think I had here. 116, I'm sure I had here. That's 22, 220. 116, okay, I got that. 4,700, did I find those? Yeah, it's 40, let's see, 4,716. That's 257. Oops. Soldered that in, that wouldn't have happened. Wait, 257. Hold on. Oh. No, that's the wrong one. Okay, 4735, and this needs 4716. Okay, and then there's 6800, which I know I don't have, and I do not have in the existing inventory. 2200 I've got, I believe. 2200, 22, 47, 2200, 16. I do have that. And then 3300 sounds familiar. Let me just see if I even ordered it. 3300 picofarad. So that's like point. Yeah, that's like 0.33 or 3.3 or something. Okay. Yeah, so I'm missing some that I definitely need for this. So I'm gonna put on just on this one whatever I have, and then I will move on to a different power supply, because any power supply from any SE or SE30 is compatible with any other SE or SE30. So it will be fine to just sub in a different one here. And I'm pretty sure I've got a total of 3 different models of power supplies for the SE machines. Okay, so I'm going to put a lot of solder on here because it's really big pad. Land because it's through hole. I don't know anything about through hole. I'd like to say I'm really good at surface mount soldering. I don't claim to be good or knowledgeable about through hole. It's just not. I don't have a lot of experience with it, and so I'm not super confident with it. I think I do an okay job, but I mean things work. So obviously I'm not doing it completely wrong, but I find it easier to do through hole soldering. I mean to do surface mount soldering, to be honest. Okay, so there goes the huge one. That's probably way more solder than it needed, but it's not going anywhere. So there's that. Looks kind of pretty. Okay, so let me see what I have. Most of what I need here. So this one is the 4700. 4700 goes at 257. So these are kind of big, but might fit. 257. See, 257. Okay, let's see if it's going to fit. 257. So it's that. It's actually probably exactly the size that was there before. It does seem to fit in that outline. 263, what goes there? I need to make sure the one next door is not bigger than what was there before. That's the 2200, which I believe I have. 100. 47. 2216. Okay. So that goes at 63. Did I say it was 63? 63. Yeah, I think this is smaller than the original one. So those will fit next door to each other just fine. Look at that. Totally fine. Okay. So I'm going to kind of lock these in place here. And then let's see what else I have. Okay, so that same cap also. I don't know what's beeping. Oh, that's my barcode reader in there. Okay, 261, 263, 266. So that's 263. 261 is over here. 261. Go. And 266 is right. 79, 264, 259, 266 right there. Okay. Okay, so what I am sure of is that I did not order enough of these caps, planning to be using this many on these power supplies. So I'm going to need to order more of them, and hopefully these were not excessively expensive ones, but it is what it is. There were a few caps that were over $1 or even a few dollars, mainly for the huge ones like that. Okay. I'm getting thermal compound or something on my shirt. Okay, so then we've got 22, and that goes, it's going to use 3 of those. And 2225, this is 2263. I have another 22. 22. Okay, 2235. I'll use that. Those are for the Hitachi. Oh, shoot. You know what? Nope, that's not the problem one. Okay, I have lots of these, so I'm going to use this. What are these ones for? TDK and for analog boards. Okay, well, I definitely used up the analog boards. Any caps I needed for analog boards I've already used, so. I ordered 30 of these, which means I probably ordered quite a few more than I actually needed right now. Okay, so this goes at 270, 275, and 276. 270, where's 270? 259. 250, no, what did I say? 270, 275, 276. 265. Wait a minute. What? Okay, I give up. Where oh, you know what? That's 255. I'm wondering, 269. 73. I'm not sure that these are ones that I need. Oh, there's 270. Okay. That's 270. It's a little bigger, but it'll fit just fine. So that's 270 and 275 and 276. That's 279. Wait, no, 275 and 276. I got it right the first time. Okay, well, I don't know where these caps go because I am not finding these numbers. 275 and 276. I should have done a better job of making these lists myself. And I did with ones after this, but okay, I'm honestly not convinced that these are actually a thing. Okay, it's neither of these. That's 279, 258, 262. That's all the open spaces there. That's 265. 265, that's not. Yeah. Okay, well, let me look at the console 5 list and see if it was a different. Okay, 2-0. Yeah, 275 and 276. It's there, but I don't know what. And there's no notes on here about that it goes on a riser board or anything, which this doesn't even have. A lot of power supplies do. That's 259. keep thinking it's going to be hidden, but got nowhere to hide. Where all of this thermal compound? Oh, it's coming from this thing. That's where it's coming from. Oh, it's all over. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's where that stuff's coming from. It's gross. Okay. Normally when the numbers are this close, the locations are accordingly this close. All I can think is when this cap is in place, I can't really see the number. So I'm wondering if it's other caps that I didn't remove, and that's why I can't see. Here's C274, 260, 267, 273, 272, 269. Like here's 275. C275. Nothing there. So it's not okay. That's when I wow. Okay, that was wow. That was in an obscure location. Okay, these are way bigger than what they're replacing. So I probably should be using smaller ones. I just don't want to run out of these for whatever I really ordered them for. 75, where's the plus? There it is. Yeah, those don't fit any better. I'm going to go ahead and just use these and just kind of put it above whatever's adjacent to it. There shouldn't be anything where it's metal making contact with metal to short anything out far enough away, so I think it'll be okay because of that. Okay, there's 275, and then I can see on the bottom the label of 276. And plus it's there, so 276. Okay, sorry about that huge waste of time trying to locate that. It's thermal grease, I'm telling you. Okay, and then back to my other list here. Okay, so 150. Now that might be one I have here. 150 I do have. Okay. Finally, something I actually have. That was an existing inventory. So 150 volt, and that goes at 269. And I know that's one of the numbers I read off. I was looking for those other two. How much you want to bet this tiny little cap is going to go in a big wide spot? No, it's not. Okay. It's actually an appropriate size for where it's going. I don't know why it won't go through the hole. The hole's open. No, the hole is not open. Oh, that's 253. Hold on. Wait a minute. What the heck? Well, that's 253. Okay. Yeah. Okay, there's something weird here. Try to see if these are touching. It looks like they might have done on some of these. They might have put, yeah, they did. They put two pads touching each other so you could use a different width of this thing. That's not confusing at all. But actually, that's kind of genius. The Mac 2FX, which I recapped the other day, I only had to recap 2 caps because it was all tantalum except 2 of them, which had leaked pretty horribly. And as it turns out, that is that board has two sets of pads for every cap. So you could use tantalum or electrolytic, and they use mostly tantalum at the factory because that was a very expensive high-end machine in its day. Okay, 4725. I must have that one. So I'm finding more of these than I expected, but I'm not going to have all of them. Sorry, I hope this isn't too boring. That's this one here. 22. Tell me I have 47. I must have 4725. There's 47. I don't know 47. Oh yeah, this is the one, 4725. Let me just make sure I don't already have. Let's see, I've got 4725s over here. I should be using these older ones. I have two different shapes of them. I hate these ones that are on the. Okay, so I'm going to use the loose ones because I do not like the. You either have to melt them or cut them off of their tape. Okay, 4725. That goes at 265, which I found is if I look at the bottom of the board, I can see the ones where there are missing caps. And that's easier to find. 264, 255, 279, 266, 262. Where the heck is 265? 79 to 264, 259. I already put it on here. 256. Was it 256? No, it says 265. Although this doesn't list anything for 256, so I wonder if that's a typo. 265. Let me read that again. Well, that's L256, not C256. Okay. Never mind. 262. Okay, so it should be a small one, I think. 265 right there. Okay. And there we go. All right. I don't think I have the 3300, but I do have the 2200. That is a 2216. I have another 2200. No, it's 22. 22. I've had this soldering iron warmed up for a long time here. Okay, 2200. I need 3 of these. I'm going to need to order more of those. Okay. Oh, let's hope this fits. 2200 width. No, oh yeah, these are big. Okay. 161, 160, or sorry, 261, 263, 266. 2. I'll find every number except those. 258, 262, 261. Wait, 266, 22. Oh, you know what? Those were the ones I already put on. Those were the first ones I put on, actually. Okay, 47016, I don't think I had. 116, that's 22, 22, 700, 47. Nope. Okay, and then 6800, I definitely don't have. 4716. Don't even think I had that. 4700 picofarads, but not microfarads. And those are definitely not interchangeable. Okay, and then 116 goes at 168. 100, and I don't think I had that. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think I do have that. 116 right there. I think I also had another value of 100 something. 125. Those ones look expensive. No, they're not expensive. Okay. I need one of these anyway. All right. So yeah. So this goes at C168, which is going to be down at the other end of the board somewhere. 164, 165, 168 right there. Okay. And there we go. All right. I think that's all the caps that I've got available. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on, and then I'll use this as a reference for the other ones, and then we'll move on to a different model. That's way too far down there. I'm not going to pick it up right now. Okay, so let's get these soldered on. All right. So it's not a trivial number of these that I'm able to do with what I have, which is, not terrible considering I did not actually order caps specifically for this power supply. But there are so many places where the same caps are used on two different analog boards or two different power supplies or something where the design is a little bit different, but they still use the same value. So that's why I happen to have so many of these. I was trying to wait to actually order components from DigiKey until I had like a complete list, and what I realized is I'm never going to have a complete list, and so I've now done 3 orders in the last week. Fortunately, they have a really cheap shipping option that's just a few dollars, and it still gets here in about 3 days. So when I have to do multiple separate orders, it's not really a big deal because I'm not paying a ton for shipping, and I'm not waiting forever for it either. Okay, did I miss anything? Right there. Okay, got that. This one doesn't look as happy with it. There we go. Okay, I think I got them all. All right. So, once the caps are in place, it's really quick to solder them on. I do have to admit that is an advantage with the through holes, that they are easier to sort of complete the job once you've got them all placed and bent the leads to hold them in their spots, and then you can just go and solder them all at once. And it's less tedious than holding them with pliers on the surface. So I guess the through hole soldering is growing on me, but I still I have more experience recapping logic boards because those are the ones that tend to have the leaks, and those are the ones that do leak are invariably surface mounted. And so that's where I've got most of my practice is with surface mounted. Okay, 3 more here to clip. 1, 2, this is 2, and 3. Okay. Let's get rid of these legs. All right. So yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like almost intentionally touching this thermal stuff. Do not like it. I understand why on a power supply you need to, deal with heat. There's a good reason, but it's really inconvenient when you're servicing the thing. Sorry, just trying to get a little bit more of this dust out of here. All right, so that's as good as this is going to get for right now. I'm going to put this one aside, and then let me find one that I've got the an entire set of caps for. So that would be one like this. So they're in the same enclosure, of course, because they have to fit in the same spot. So here is what I should have done for all of them, which is to save the components I took off. In the event I am missing something, then I have the old ones that I could potentially reuse if I have to. Okay, and this one, I do have my own list. This is this one right here. Let me just confirm the part number here. 6315105. 6315105A. Yep. Okay. So this is the correct list. All right. A lot of the caps I already have out here are going to be for this. So this is one. That is 116. Let's see if there's more than one of those. Let's see. 116. 412. 412. Let's see. 100. Okay. It's just one of those. Oh. I didn't clean. Okay. So this was one of the power supplies that had really bad leaking. So leaking is not just a surface mount cap problem. Sorry, let me see if I can get, you know what? I have manual focus available to me. Just have to turn it on. Okay. So let's see if, why is this not focusing? Because I was turning it the wrong way. Okay, I can focus down to 10 centimeters. So here's the problem. You can see on that one there, it is covered with green goo, and that is a result of leaking caps. And you can see a possible leak there, could be glue, and you can see more goo on all of these. So basically, I made a note as I was taking this apart. So at least for one of them, I don't know if it was this one or another of the same model, but there were leaks from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the caps. Out of, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 that I didn't note a leak from, and 8 that I did. So basically half the caps were leaky enough that I actually made a note about it. That's pretty bad. Okay, so before I put that back on, I need to try to clean this crud off of here. So let me get my, I'm going to try to just use alcohol. Should work. IPA. There's 2 alcoholic substances called IPA. But this is the one that you would be ill-advised to consume. Okay, that is nasty. This whole board is rather nasty. This is not a board I feel like I could put in the ultrasonic cleaner, although I feel like it could benefit quite a bit from it. I don't don't know, but I don't think it would be a good idea. Something just tells me some of the components like that, you know, might not be happy. These bigger, kind of more open things, I don't think those are really meant to go in a ultrasonic, you know, to be submerged, basically. So I'm going to do the best I can here with swabs and hope for the best. I think some of this is either flux or glue. So the caps that I noted were really bad. Those were where I actually found like green goo, and some of it I probably cleaned up as I was removing caps. So what's visible now is probably less than the total that had leaked before. I mean, it leaked in total. Yeah, really gross. Okay. I think so. Some of this, yeah, some of this is glue. I can tell the difference in sort of how it shines or doesn't shine. So I think, but this is pretty gross what I got off of there. Okay, we're gonna call it good. At least there won't be any more leaking, and that's a good thing. Okay. Gross. Okay. So now I pulled this cap out for something. This is the 16100. Wait. Okay. That goes at 412. So let's see if I can find 412. It's 102. 412 right there. Okay. That was a lot faster than I expected to locate it. I'm trying to bend these in such a way that they won't be in the way of other ones I have to put on. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that backwards? So the positive side of the other caps right around it is the opposite side from this one. So when I saw those, I assumed I'd done this backwards, but no, they were backwards. I'm just going to get a little bit of this. I can't. Okay, whatever. Okay. So there is 412. Okay, then we've got, so I can put that away. Okay. And this is the Hitachi. This is the one that's got those weird cap values. I need to put these back because they wait, unless there's a 4710. What's this say? 4735. Oh, I have 4710. Okay. That one we're done with. Okay, not trying to be dramatic throwing it, just trying to get it back in the corner so I know that it's what I'm finished with. Okay, those are not for this one. These came out of this bag, and they are for this one. 401 it says. So 401. That's the 100. 100 microfarad 25. 401 is, there's 402, there's 401. I'm having way better luck finding the locations for these than I was with that last one. It's a good thing. Okay. The legs are not quite, or the leads are not the correct spacing. In some of these cases, they're off by a millimeter or 2 or 3. And so when they have to stretch out, it means that the cap can't sit quite flush on the board. But I don't want to force them because if I do that, I could break the leads off, I suppose. Okay, I don't think I'm using any of these. This is 47, 25, I think. 47, 25. Not used. Okay, this is 2263. That one might be used. There's a 2235. No, okay. And then this is a 4700 picofarad. That's not being used. Okay. And this is used 404. This was, did I do 404 yet? No, I did not. Okay. So that is 2235. That's the one right there. Okay. Let's see, 225404. And that's going to be right in this area too. I'm sure that's 304. That's weird. It's right next to all the other ones. Oh, there's 104. No, 102. No, 102. Okay, where's 404? There it is. Okay. Doing my best to try to get these to stand up straight, even though the legs are being whatever, but they're not. It's not going to be perfect, and I don't really care because it's hidden inside a power supply enclosure, so nobody's going to be looking at it. Okay, so now I need to find more Hitachi things. Not that. Okay, this goes at 206. I bet I can find this one. The caps are big enough to be individually wrapped, and they cost $2 a piece. Oh, wait a minute, unless this might be the incredibly expensive one. Let's see. Yeah, this is more than $2. This one was $11.62. This is the most expensive cap I've ever got. And I'm going to have to twist the terminal like I did on that other one because it's still not quite right. So where is my this thing? The other one. Let's make sure I'm twisting it the right way. I do not want to ruin this one. Let's see if that goes there. Let's see if this will line up. Please work. I do not want to ruin this. As I recall, this one was difficult to remove the old one. Okay, look at that. Make sure it's the right way around. It is. Okay, I'm going to solder that before I even place the rest of them because I want to get it locked in place here. Okay, here we go. Just want to get a little bit of solder here just to get them kind of locked down, and then I'll make sure that they're where they should be. And then we will use more solder and get the pad nice and covered here. the land. So I'm not used to calling it that. I hope I'm using that word correctly. I'm pretty sure that's the word for these. Land. And there we go. Just letting that harden for a second here, because when you use that much solder, it takes a minute. It's nice and shiny. They look good. They look good. It does justice to that freaking $11 cap. Unbelievable. Which company dares to charge that much? Chemicon. There's a bunch more of theirs on here, but they are average out slightly under $2 a piece. Or no, sorry. No, about $1.30 a piece. Okay. You know what? Just while I'm at it, let me do the ones that I've already got on here, because the others are very close to these, and I want to cut off these legs so that they're not going to be in the way of other caps where I need to be able to bend their legs when I place them. So just might as well. Yep, and I'm getting that fishy smell because the ones that leaked, of course, are there's okay. Now, is this a bridge or is this meant to be a single pad? I think it's meant. I don't know if it's meant to be. Hold on. Where did I put that wick? This is a new one. I still have a little bit left in the old one, but I don't know where I put it. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about. I think that I was saying that the ones that had leaked, I'm getting that fishy smell. Oh no, I know what I was saying about this is the I don't know if these two are meant to be touching each other or not. And so I'm gonna remove some of this solder so I can just take a look if the pads are touching. If they are, then it's all good. Yes, they are. Okay. Let's see if I can get a microscope view easily. Sometimes the microscope is cooperative and sometimes it's not. Scope. Let's see. Where are those? Right there. Okay. So it's those two. I just wasn't sure if. Oh, and I can see where the. Oh no, the mask isn't actually scraped off. That's a reflection of the light. I can get it to stop reflecting for a second. Let's see. It's not scraped off. It's just a reflection. Okay. So anyway, because those are meant to touch, this one is something else next to it. That's one that's not put on. But since those are meant to touch, it's okay to have one big solder blob there. Not going to hurt anything at all. Okay. I didn't have, it wasn't fully exposed when I started, so it wasn't that I wasn't paying attention. It's that I had no way to pay attention because I couldn't see it because it was already covered. And I think that next one next to it is also touching. Okay, is there any I'm missing here? Oh, I should get the other side of this. Okay, and I got those. Oh, no, there's one more. And there we go. Okay, so if I cut these legs off, then I'm going to have an easier time having a place to bend the next legs on. And that one and this one. Okay. All right. I promise if I get all these caps on here, I'm going to be able to have a computer that turns on. It's really nice to end up with something that works when you finish a project. Okay, so that was that one. And the old one was probably just fine, let's be honest, but and so I probably shouldn't have spent all that money, but no, actually no, this one's okay. On one of these it wasn't. There was something wrong with the old one. Okay. So I've got, just need to find more of these that say Hitachi on them. This is it's Apple branded, but it was made by Hitachi apparently. That is, that's what I read online, and you know you can believe everything you read on the internet because it's full of good information. Okay, it might be that one. Some of these I labeled as various PSUs because I didn't have enough room to fit the specific list on there. Shouldn't be that one. Nope. Nope. Yes. No. Oh, wait. Nope. Okay, this is. Nope. No, and no. No. Wait. Nope. Okay, this might be. Nope. Nope. No, and yes. And no. Almost done over here. Be right back. What's this say? Aztec. And this is possibly the way it's labeled. I can't tell. That's for logic boards. Okay. All right. In theory, I think all the remaining ones I need are among this. So, 1025. Do we have any of those? 1025. Yeah. 101. 102. Okay, so actually, get a bunch of these. 101. 102. Somehow isn't formatted right, so I wouldn't have seen. Okay, there we go. Okay. 101, 102, 304, and 402, and 408. Okay, that accounts for a whole bunch of them. Okay, and then this is the bag that those came in. I'm not sure why they came in that kind of bag, but whatever. In a bag. Same type of bag. Okay, this is 1216. Do we have that on here? No, we do not. Okay. This is 47016. There are 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then this is 22025. What? 22025. I don't think that's on here. Nope. Okay, then this is 1016. Wait. 1, 2, 3. 3 of these. Okay. And then this one is the C305. Oh, that's 1025. Unusual one. And this is C308. 4700. This is a $2 Panasonic one, which is, yeah. Between this one and this one, this is a very expensive power supply to recap. I don't think I have very many of these though, fortunately. Okay, so this would be 305. No, this would be, and some of these are specifically low ESR. Most of these are low ESR caps, because most of them are polymer, where it was appropriate. Which just means it's looks like an electrolytic, but it's doesn't have the same juice that leaks all over the place when they get old. Okay, so here is a Panasonic one that goes at 308, 310, 309, 307, 308 right there. It's a very prominent position on the board, as well it should, for that price. Okay, yeah, there was definitely, that was one that had leaked, and so in fact I think that was the one that had leaked worse than any other, and so even though it was $2, I really didn't have a choice. I had to replace. I mean, I truly had no choice but to replace it. So there it is, and I smell the fishy smell because that's what the leaking electrolytic juice stinks like. Okay, there's that. Then we've got this one here is the 1025, and that goes at 305, which I believe is right here. At least in this case, the lead spacing is correct, which is nice. These last two have been correct. Oh yeah, there's that fishy smell. It's really not pleasant. And the fume extractor wasn't close enough to help out. Okay, I don't know why this is not covering the land the way it's supposed to. Okay, sometimes those legs, when I cut them, they go flying, and I have no idea where. Okay, so then we've got, these are the 1016, so those go at 307, 309, and 310. They go around this one. 307, 307, and 1016. Okay, 309 there. I know this is like watching paint dry. Not that much more fun at my end either. And 310. Okay. All right, and then we've got, these ones are 470, 16, and those go at 306, 311, and 312. 306. Love it when the first one I look at is the one. 306. And 311. And 312. And that would be here. There. And there. Those were all ones that had leaked. I can see the remains of that. Okay. And and then I've got 5 of these, which I believe are the same, and that would be 1025. So that's 101, 102. Let's see, 101, 102. Yeah, okay. 102. These are not the same as the original lead spacing. Why does not want to go in? Okay, 102. It's going to try to push all these through and then do the leads, but can't. Because they're not the right spacing, so then they get crooked. Okay, 101 is right here. And in the home stretch here, 101, 102, what did I say? And then 304. 304 is right here. Makes sense. 304 is right next to 412, right? Whoever laid out this board didn't do the best job with numbering. That was logical. Okay, 304, and then we've got I have 2 left. Okay, so that would be 402 and 408, which would be here. And I'm not doing this under the camera, sorry. And 408 is here. Okay. This should be now every cap in place, and I just have to iron them on. Let me just look for any open holes. And I don't see any. Okay. So I think this is really it, and this board is, or this power supply is actually going to be done. Kind of excited about that prospect. I've spent so much time on these, doing them in batches, and so you feel like you're producing a lot of stuff to see, but not a lot of stuff that's done. It's like well, something I'm recently familiar with. It's like remodeling a house where you spend the first part of the project doing, plumbing and electric and HVAC and whatever inside the walls, and then you cover it all up, and you're back to sort of the baseline where you started, where you just see walls because you had torn them down and then you just put them back. And nobody really appreciates all those new pipes and the new air conditioning and all the, great stuff that's behind those new walls. Because again, it's just baseline. So then you got to start doing the nice stuff like lighting and paint and things that you can actually see. So in this case, it would be the reassembling and being able to turn it on that is the reward for all of this ultimately invisible stuff. Not invisible, but once it's put back together, it really kind of is. Okay, then this one, I think I've got one more little glob here to do, and then I need to just get this lead out of the way. And I think that's it. So there's kind of big globs of solder here where I did this. I probably used a little more than I needed to, but Oh, no, missed one over here. But as long as they're not touching any others and creating bridges, I am okay with it because it's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Those are done. Those are done. Just making sure so that when I start cutting the things off, I don't suddenly discover I missed one. Okay, I think I did them all. So that means this is done. It's very exciting to say that word. Okay. The harder I try to hold my hands steady, the more they start tremoring because it's, I guess, just how it goes. And the only part of soldering that really needs a steady hand is the surface mount. When you're holding the cap with the plier before you've got the pliers, before you've got one leg stuck where it goes, at which point, as long as you only heat one pad at a time, it won't shift. But you've got to get it right first so that when you do go for the other pad, it'll be lined up how it needs to be. And that can be very frustrating. All right, I think I got one more leg here, and then this board power supply is done. Okay, it's not perfect in terms of appearance, but it has all the caps where they need to be. They're, more or less lined up. They kind of match. It's all cyan and magenta here. A little yellow in the middle, and some black. So we got our CMYK. Okay, that wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. Okay, that's good to go. And then I think these are, no, those are original. Okay, so these filters here are ceramic caps that were put on at the factory rather than using reefas. So I think this one maybe didn't have reefas in it, and therefore, well, it still needed to be recapped though. I mean, it's because of the leaks. The leaks were quite bad. Okay. Now let me see if I can get this back in here, and I think I have to solder a couple wires back onto the board. Nope, this is a plug-in one. Thank goodness. They usually aren't. Okay. Let's just see here. Get this in place. It has to go in these little slots over here. Oh, no, there's only one slot. Okay. And then there's some screws that go in here that will actually keep it in place. And then this just plugs in. I got to give them credit. The plugging in like that versus having to solder the wires on in a tight space with really short wires, that was a good design decision on their part. All right, so I've got a lot of screws here, and I probably don't know which one is which. So there may be a lot of trial and error involved in this. And I should probably plug the thing in before I screw the power supply enclosure shut. Just make sure no sparks come out or anything, because bad enough if that happens, but if it happens after I put it back together and I have to take it all apart again, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. Disappointed is a nice word for it. All right. Raging angry might be more accurate. Okay, so how many screws does this use? 1, 2, 3, it appears. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So there's 3 screws. Let me see if I can find 3 that appear to be the same size. There are very few things that would have just 3. Okay, that's that one's. Oh, these are all the same. Okay, but there may also be. Oh, that one got really messed up. Okay, no, that one's shorter. Those, okay, that one got messed up. This one is different, and this one is different. Okay. Well, no, actually, I think this one might be the same. It has a little. Oh, that's probably the one that connects connects this ground wire. I wonder if I think it grounds to there. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna guess that it's these screws just because of their size, and if the threading is right, then I think I'm gonna be right. I don't think it would be the other ones. I hope. Okay, so that didn't go in happily, so I'm gonna infer that it's probably not the right threading. Went most of the way in. Again, this little screwdriver is not particularly strong. So if it's well, there's nothing else that, I mean, can't be any longer than this. It's got to be these. I think the screwdriver just isn't very strong. Let's try that again. Yeah, it just seems to be that the screwdriver is not that strong. Okay, these are correct. Okay, where's my regular, normal screwdriver? Guess it's this one. I was switching bits. Oh, you know what? I've got another one right here. So I can just leave that one. Okay. Hopefully this bit isn't too big for the screw. Nope. Okay. And one in the middle. Oh. Yeah, so this one's not magnetic. Start it with the magnetic one, finish it with the other one. Actually, this one that's out in the middle might not need the other one. Yeah. Turns out that it didn't. Okay. So this is all in place. Now there's something that goes over here for this thing. I think, I'm pretty sure this screws in here to hold that in place. I just don't know if it, I think it screws in on the outside to hold that in place. Yeah, it does. Okay. I hope I'm right about this. I'm honestly not sure. And I'm going to guess it's the same kind of screw, but maybe or maybe not. We'll see. Does seem to be that same screw. Okay. I'm assuming that's supposed to go over the top. It seems to fit, so I think it's just supposed to hold that in place. I'm not aware that it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. So this is a thermal solution here that needs to touch the outside of the enclosure, and so this is sort of spring-loaded force to keep it pushed against it, so the heat can dissipate through the outer edge. And you can actually even see here there's a little square where the thermal tape or something. It's just molded in there so that when they assembled it, they knew where to put the little square that is heat conductive. Okay. This thing goes, oh yeah, it goes like this and that. Okay, that one was really easy. Okay, so as much as I don't like the condition that this power supply was in because of the leaky caps, between this thing being easy to clip in place and that being a plug-in, I can kind of forgive it because the other ones were such a pain. Okay, and then that's for Sony. That's not this one. This is for this one. Okay, so I know I said I was going to turn it on first, and I still will, but I want to get this. In the event it does shoot sparks, I'd rather not have it wide open and, so it can shoot them in my face. I'd rather have it shoot them inside the enclosure, which of course is perforated, so a lot of good that will do, but whatever. You know what? I'm just going to screw this shut because it's only a couple of screws, I think. Although, these seem to be different screws. I do not know. Do not know. Okay, and this thing is bent a little bit. Try it over here and see if this is the right screw. They'll start to go in if the diameter is right, but they won't keep going in if the yeah, no, it's not right, and this bit is too big. Yeah, they'll start going in if the diameter is correct, but they won't go all the way in if the sorry, I can't form words. They won't go all the way in if the threading is not a match. Okay, so let's see if this actually will screw in. I don't think it will. No. Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. So it's not those ones. Got 3 of these and 2 long ones. So I bet the 2 long ones go in here. Then I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I only have 3 of these. So somebody might not get a screw. And one of the holes might not get a screw. And is what it is. Okay. And then I'm pretty sure this one down here is supposed to be for ground wire. Pretty sure that's what this is for. I probably should have taken a picture before I took it apart. And then I would actually know instead of guessing. But that's not always my style. Sometimes I am just eager to start working on something. Okay, why don't these screw goes in, it just is more force than this screwdriver wants to exert. Okay. That's fine. And then, so if that screw fit, then I wonder what else I missed, because I feel like I've got more screws than I should have. This is all said and done. I don't think there's any screws on any other side. There's not. Okay, so I have, yeah, definitely more screws than holes, but that's okay. Yeah. So I found where the threading is different. So I think that's the same threading. So this is the only bigger threading I see. Let's hope. Or this may be the one that I had to force that other screw out of. No. Seems to be right. Okay, in that case, it makes me think that's the one that's supposed to have the ground on it, and that's why it's bigger. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Let's just see. I mean, yeah, the eye at the end of the ground is big enough for this screw. And so this ground just connects to the internal chassis in the SE. And so that it grounds the rest of that, and then everything inside, like the CRT, can just ground to any point on the metal since it's all one piece or welded or whatever. Okay, and let's hope this one uses this kind of screw, because I don't have any more of those big ones. Does seem to be right fit. Okay, so I guess I didn't do what I said I was going to do about testing it before I screwed it shut, but I can test it now. I guess I can test it with no load just to see that it doesn't shoot sparks. I'd rather not damage anything in case it does. Let's see. Okay. No electric fire smell, no sparks. As far as I know, no blown fuse. So I think it's going to work. So here we go. Let's assemble the machine. This is the happy moment. Now, I don't know. I'm going to let me just reassociate this power supply with this machine. Where is database? There it is. Okay. So we're going to take this one and unassign it. And then okay. That's very strange. SGF, yeah, this is the right one. Okay, link to device. Try doing it the other way around. There we go. Okay, now let me go back to the device and Mac SE. Where is Mac SE? Right there. And power supply. There it is. Alrighty. So, oh, I know what those other 4 screws were for. Those other 4 screws. Okay. I put the wrong screws in the wrong places. A couple of these cases here. These ones that have the little teeth around them, these are the ones that that connect this power supply to the analog board. Mounted, I should say, not connect. That's why there are 4 that are the same. Okay, so then one of these I'm sure was supposed to be inside, but it's fine. If the threading is correct, it'll work. Up here, okay, and okay, so yeah. See, brute force, I can figure out which screws go where, but it's a lot of trial and error. And the brute force is where I have to do this because okay. This is not good for using manually. All right, there's nothing to grip. Okay, so here's the screws. Now, one of these screws is really chewed up. I can't see the camera, so I don't know what it's showing. This screw got really chewed up. Okay. Let's try another way. Well, anyway, you can see it's not consistent threading. So we'll see if that even that'll even grip on here. I think it will. I think it's going to be okay. Should be optimistic and confident, you know. All right. Where is the little screw hole? There it is. Okay. I can just get one of these and then one at the other end, and then I will screw them the rest of the way in. I'm just trying to get it so it'll stay lined up. That is easier said than done, and I hope these are the right screws. It doesn't seem to be going in. Okay. Well, that's irritating. I wonder if this is the wrong screw or if this is the hole that got so messed up. That's the hole that got messed up. Okay. So we'll start with this one then. Trying to do this with one hand. It's not that easy, but somehow I managed. Okay. That one should work. There we go. Okay. Loosely put that there and then get this one on. Pretty sure I'm supposed to do this before I put it in the case. As I recall, last time when I tried to do it the other way around and slide this in past the CRT, it did not work very well. Okay, I'm going to try this chewed up one. I don't know if it's going to do anything. I don't know if it'll stay in, if it'll go in. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of in there. It may or may not be better than nothing. I'm not sure. I don't believe it's better than nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and just not screw that corner in. Should be fine. Okay. So this is what the completed assembly looks like with the power supply back on there. Sorry, again, I fear that was kind of like watching paint dry. But now that it's dry, it should get less boring from here. So this, let me see. This one is going to connect right over here. Okay. And then this is the awkward part. I probably should not have connected that yet. Okay. Let's try that again. And all the while, try not to break the CRT. This CRT is filthy, by the way, which doesn't give me a lot of hope that the picture is going to look very nice. Dusting the outside of it will probably do very little to help the picture. Okay, let's see if I can squeeze this into place. I don't even know what angle. Oh, part of it is the little contrast dial that has to line up down at the bottom there. Okay. Yeah, maybe the power supply does have to go in after. I don't think so, but it's certainly not. Okay. Nobody ever said Macintosh was designed for roomy, easy access. And did I just... Darn it. The little contrast thing is not exactly where it's supposed to be. I hope I didn't break it. This is not seated all the way down yet. Okay. No. No. Okay, there's a little nub on the contrast dial that must line up with the little hole in the that you can't get to from the other side. The little hole in the whatever thing it lines up with. Okay. All right. That actually worked. It actually is. It actually is in. Yes, all those things are in. Okay. So now it's a matter of finding the pieces to screw it in. Let's see if this is not a complete set of pieces. Did I have a set of pieces for this? I try to save all the part. Yeah, here we go. This is for another machine. Oh, wait a minute. I had a bag. Okay. Here we go. All right. One piece is this thing. Oh, you know what? I thought I was on the test bench camera here. Sorry. Okay. So to put this in place, we got this thing here that's going to get screwed in. I'm afraid that wasn't visible. I'm not sure what to do to make it more visible. Okay, so I got that, and I've got. I have to put the screws in first, and then put the little paper shield thing on it. Okay, that's part of the power supply, so that's from a different one. Oh, okay, so I think there's a set of power supply screws here too, but I'm not sure. Wish I had any idea what I was working with here. Nope. I think it's going to be this. I don't know. Let's see if the screw goes in, it fits, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Seems to. Okay. So I guessed right. Although that one doesn't seem as happy. I don't know if these are different threading. I mean, there's so many that look similar but might not be the same. This does seem to work. It just is tough to get in. Okay. I hope that's right. I hope I didn't just force something that's not supposed to fit. Okay, and then this one is what makes this thing line up. And I'm going to guess that there was only one up here. It's this thing. I see indentations from the second one, so maybe there was. I guess. Do I have any? I guess there's nothing else I have to screw in here, so I guess I do have another screw. Unless this is a different threading that just looks similar, but it's not. This is not happy to be going in this hole. Okay, I don't know. I do not know. Oh, it's not that one. Okay, well, whatever. One of them is fine. It's in there nice and tight. And then, so here's the ground screw that grounds the chassis to the ground coming into the power supply. Okay, I literally just took the screw out, so I know that it fits in this hole. I am positive I just removed this screw. So how is it possible? I just took the screw right out and I'm just putting it back. It can't possibly not fit. Sorry, that was out of camera view again. This is ridiculous. Let's see if it'll go in now. I mean, it's self-drilling the hole, self-starting. I don't know what you call it. Good enough, right? Okay. So now that I've got all that in place, now I have to figure out how to connect this stuff, which this one is relatively easy. Some of these others are really obstructed. This is one that I would have preferred to have plugged in before. I have this in place, but the key here is to not break the CRT. Because if I go through all this and I break another CRT, I'm going to be really unhappy. Okay. So this is the one that goes to the logic board. And I think actually there's just this one left. And this one is for the CRT neck board. Is that plugged in? Guess that's all the way in. Okay. This is the part that is precarious because, you know, we don't want to break the neck. I think it's on. Okay. Home stretch here. Where is that? Where is that? Cartoonishly long bit. There it is. Okay, so we're going to ground the CRT neck here. Actually, I should probably get that in place first. So this is the anode cap. Usually I can just do that by hand. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then finally, ground this. So that the trick with I hope I got that right. The trick with these screws that are going into the molded plastic is you want to turn it backwards until it kind of clicks and then screw it in, because otherwise you could be creating new threading and it's never going to be as secure after that. So you want to be reusing the original threading. All right. So let's get the anti-electrocution cover back on here. These little plastic things. And there's one. Sorry, this is not in the camera. It's this paper thing here. Don't know if I have a full set of these plastic things. How many more do I need? 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I guess I've got them all. Okay, good. That one. Yeah, so that one screw that was all stripped from the power supply, you can see exactly where it's supposed to be back here, and it's very obvious that it's missing. But it's, even if I had a different screw, it wouldn't make a difference because it's the hole that's messed up. So another screw wouldn't bite. Okay. So this is mostly reassembled. Now, there's a few things that need to happen. Number one, is there's a cap missing here. Is there another cap missing? The SE30, there are 2 of these. With the SE, there's maybe only 1. Let's see. says filter. Okay, I need to look up what this cap is supposed to be because I'm not sure. Okay, this is, let's see, SE. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up online. SE logic port. Okay, this is number. Looks like it's called B1, which is. No, it can't be. But it is. There's no other label. Oh, wait a minute. That one above there is okay. Well, so I'm looking at the bottom of this board, and clearly there was something soldered there. It's now not. Let me see if I've got another SE board up here. I think I do. I can look at. Is this SE or plus? This is plus. Okay, so that's not going to help. That one's SE30. That one's classic. That's SE30. That's SE30. Those are all newer ones. I thought I had two SEs here. Okay. Be back. Where is? Let's see. SE30. That's SE30. So I guess this is the only. Wait. Before I finish that sentence. No, there's not one there. Okay, so the only other SE I have, if I have one down there, is down in storage. So, let me see if there's a diagram here. Otherwise, I may have to run down there. It's only take me a couple minutes. SE logic board. Okay, well, Bruce Rain has a nice diagram on. Oh, B, of course. B for battery. It was a battery. It was a battery. It was the kind of battery that was soldered onto the board. I thought I had a battery hole. Okay, at least this is repairable. I just have to find if I have a battery. Looks like I may not have a. I could have sworn I had one. Okay, I don't know if this machine requires a battery to boot, but no, I was going to take it off one of these useless boards, but these have the other leaky kind of battery. Let me see, where are these things? So it's possible that I could use one of these cute little switch cameras here. One of these cute little this thing here that is holds a CR2032 and is meant to fit into those other battery holders. It's too big to solder into place here. Okay. I don't want to take one off another board. I'm trying to think if I have a board that is just shot that I could take it off of. I mean, even just sort of borrow it off another board. Maybe I can borrow this board. Okay, this board's in. Where's that one that got leaked? These had massive leaking. It was this one. I don't want to take that all apart. Okay, I'll take it off. Take it off this board. Oh, unless, wait a minute. Wait. Is that classic? I'll take it off a classic board. Oh, yeah. I can take it off a classic board. Okay. This will be fine, and then I'll just order, because I've got to already order a bunch of parts. I could have sworn I had a couple of these in my, I must have used them. It's possible that I used the battery holder on a ROM 0, ROM 1 2GS, because those have the same. Is this not plugged in? This is not plugged in. That's why it's not warming up. Okay, those 2GSs have the same situation with the early ones with the soldered in battery, which was really a stupid idea. Let's be honest, it was really, really stupid that they soldered them in, and I just realized something. This is that. That's my little remover. This is the tip on this desoldering gun. It's the one that has something stuck in it. So, trying to do this without burning myself. Okay. Where is that? This thing. There we go. Okay. That is just dead trash. I spent like 15 minutes trying to, no, probably more than that, honestly, trying to get the whatever stuck inside that tip out. I'm looking for a 1.6. That sounds good. Okay. These Hacko tips are not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive either. I mean, they're like, depends on their website. I'm sure they're all the same money. On Amazon, they're all a little different, but I think they were about, I don't know, $7, $7 to maybe 15 at the most. Okay, so this is an otherwise probably good to go. Well, no, actually, no. It doesn't have caps on it. Why did I not put the caps back on? This one actually has clean pads all over. Okay. All right. This should be warmed up now. Yep. Okay. So we're going to find that thing. It's going to be this. And don't tell me it's glued in. I bet it's glued in. I just bet. I mean, okay, that side's loose. Yeah, this is either snapped in or glued in, and I don't see anything snapping it in, so it must be glued in. That is quite annoying, to be honest. Now, where is that? Wow. Oh, maybe that's because I was pushing against the table. Okay, well, one side is loose now. This side, I can't tell if it's the... Somehow there may still be a little bit of solder on it. For sure, that's got to have released it. What is going on here? Man, not trying to break an otherwise working board just to borrow a battery holder here. No, the thing isn't moving over here. Somehow this is still got some solder holding it, even though I don't understand. Wait, I think it might be coming loose. This is crazy. What is going on under this thing? So I think I've just about got it. There we go. There's still some solder on top. That was the problem. Okay. Well, that was special. Okay, so the plus is over there. Now I'm trying to see. Easier to see from the bottom. It appears that there's two holes at each end, and it appears that this is going to line up with one hole at one end and the inner hole at one end and the outer hole at the other end. Yep. The hole that has the still has some solder in it from where the original one was. Oh, good. This whole room smells like weed smoke because one of my wonderful neighbors is standing outside smoking. It's so disgusting. It just keeps getting worse. And by the time I smell it, they're long gone. I still don't get why this is not smell is just disgusting. Wow, this is it's I think what it is that these pins are slightly bigger than the holes. And also I think that hole may still have a little bit of solder left over. This isn't probably the most effective when there's nothing there, but okay, let's try one more time. Shouldn't be this hard. Truly, it should not be this hard. Oh, I think it. Right. That just pushed right on through. That was not what it was meant to do. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to make this work or not. I'm thinking about getting a hammer, but I probably shouldn't do that. Oh my God. Okay. Well, this is not going to be a successful endeavor. So, got so far, but not far enough. All right. I need to make sure whatever I order replacements for these, that the pins are a little bit smaller, I guess. Oh, I see what it. Wait. Hold on. Let's see what the problem is. There's a little pin here. There. You see that little black pin there on the left that is supposed to align it with the board. However, the board doesn't have a hole for that pin to go in. I think that's just, I don't know if it's for lining it up or making sure the polarity is right. I think it's for lining it up because, for polarity, because the metal pins line it up. So now let's see if without that, perhaps I seem to have pins coming through at both ends. Okay, well, that was an easy solution. I'm not going to heat up the soldering iron. I'm just going to use the desoldering gun because it is effectively a soldering iron, and I only have 2 little dots to do here. And I don't want to waste time with that. Just have to find where they are. Oh, I was looking at the wrong end of the board. Okay. The tip of this thing is definitely not the ideal shape for what I'm trying to accomplish here. But the beauty about solder is you don't have to get very much of it to have it do its job. And so I believe it's fine now. I'm going to try to just fill in these other holes. Sometimes this spits liquid solder. Rarely it actually gets, yeah. So go figure. It spit it out when I did that. See, it got on the cord. and this is what it does. Usually it doesn't fuse to things that aren't metal, but apparently it's fused to the cord, and I'm not going to melt it off. So, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. After that big waste of time, nothing is ever just straightforward, obvious, right? It's never that easy. All right. So now it will work better if it has RAM installed. And I am assuming 3, 4, excuse me, 5, 6. Okay, let me just make sure this is all, these are all 1 megabyte sims. Where is my scanner? There it is. And this is why I have the databases for finding things like that. Oh, actually, I can just see the numbers here. 385, 384, 383, 386. Okay, I guess I didn't need that after all. All right, these are all 1 meg. Are they the same speed? I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they're all 70 nanosecond. So this machine has a maximum of 4 megabytes and 0 on board. And so if I didn't install this, it would not be able to run at all. All right. And I've got a little surprise up my sleeve here in a minute if this turns on, but I got to turn it on first and see that it works as is. So there we go with, I can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we got the battery in. For all that effort, I'm going to even put the cute little cover over it. So we've got RAM, got a battery, and so then we have, now here's a cool thing about the SE, the original LC, the Mac 2. Well, in the case of the Mac 2, it's not really a special thing, but basically the original LC and the SE have 2 floppy drive openings. So you can put 2 floppy drives in there. However, if there's a hard drive installed, it uses one of those bays. But if you use a BlueSCSI, it doesn't. It can just float somewhere in the case because it's tiny. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So you can use 2 floppy drives and a BlueSCSI. Of course, if you have a BlueSCSI, you probably don't need any floppy drives, but it is possible. If in the interest of sort of maxing things out, it is doable. Okay. Thinking, what else do I need to put in here? Oh, how about some ROM? This has ROM chips. Okay, the chips are what they are. So can't do that, which means I can't have a ROM disk to boot from, which means I'm going to have to hook up something, and I have just the thing. Okay. Logic board is in. Power is connected. I'm trying to see if I can. Okay, yeah, and I can get to the floppy and SCSI ports. Okay, or not ports, but headers. Okay, so just the thing I have would be this, which is a floppy emu, and on the card here I have a System 6 boot disk, so I will be able to start it up without having a floppy drive installed. And we can just actually, yeah, so I'm not going to put a floppy drive or a hard drive in here at the moment, because I'm going to be, assuming everything works, I'm going to be taking it apart again very shortly. So I'm not even going to put the case on. Let's put that in. Okay. All right, let me just test audio here. Okay, that was a really nice sound, and I felt the new fan blowing on my hand. Okay, so it made a happy startup sound. Let me grab a keyboard and mouse here, which are just like the screwdriver. These are cartoonishly large for the size of the machine. But, well, the mouse isn't, but the keyboard is. But it's 80B, and that's what matters. So unfortunately, I don't have, because this is a built-in monitor, I can't capture the video coming out of it. So not much I can do about that. Oh boy, the front of this got really filthy on the table. I have to clean it. Let me try to clean it a little bit here with IPA. Get some of this crud off. Oh yeah, that's highly effective. Amazing. That got most of it off. Right there. I should always put something under these computers. I'm like spinning them around on their face. They always get dirty like that, but it's okay. That came clean. Okay. So let me try the floppy emu. So just let's see if we can see this. So what I can do here is go system startup. It's hard to read there, but it says system startup. Okay, I'm seeing nothing on the screen, so I'm hoping it's because of the contrast. Yep. Oh wow, the screen is beautiful. Gosh, I don't have a camera that I can show it with. My computer is not accessing this disk. It's giving me a disk with an X. Oh, yeah. I can tell you why that's happening. It's because this machine doesn't understand 1.4 meg disks. It's an 800K machine. So I need to put a disk image on here that is 800K. Do I have a? Yeah, there we go. Sorry, just plugging in a card reader here for the little SD card. Pulled out of the floppy emu. Okay. All right, that's plugged into the computer. Let me just grab a disk image here from the internet. Bear with me just a second here. Oh, the camera has lost track of my face. It does that sometimes. If I just manually point it back at me, it will figure it out from there. There we go. Okay. Where is internet? So we're going to do system 6.0.8. 800K. All right. Let's grab a system 6. 800K right there. Curiously, the download is 978K for an 800K file, disk image, but whatever. Okay, just unzip that. And, oh, it had all the disks. Cool. Oh, wait a minute. Utilities 1, Utilities 2, System Tools, and Printing Tools. Oh, let's just say startup disk. Okay, so that that 900K. Okay, so it's just slightly bigger than one disk, and that's compressed all the disks. So that makes sense now. Okay, let me put that on the emu. The file name. Oh, of course. Okay. Unzip them. Oh, seriously. Okay. So this is Windows not understanding how to un7Z here. 7Z is a compression format Windows doesn't seem to understand very well. I don't know if it. What is going on here? Sorry, this should not be this difficult. I don't know where the file is ending up that I'm extracting here. Okay, there we go. Now they should copy over, I hope. Yes, indeed. Okay, let's eject that. And try this again. And then I'm trying to figure out how I can show this monitor. Maybe if I turn out, that's not going to help. Shoot. Okay, let's see if I can take it off of here. Wrap this cord. I didn't think this through very well. Okay, there we go. That's upside down, of course. Okay, there we go. Let me get the SD card back in this emu here. And see how beautiful the screen is. I mean, it really is crisp and nice. Okay, so we're going to go System Tools. I guess it's hard to fully appreciate how nice the screen looks. It's not perfectly centered, but it's fairly well adjusted. So yeah, with the scan lines and everything, it's hard to fully appreciate, but it's very crisp. Just, I guess, take my word for it. So the fact that it says welcome to Macintosh and I can see that it's reading the disk, that makes me very happy. So the computer works. 4 megs of RAM, which is what we want to see. Okay, so now we're going to shut this down and try something that is the little surprise. Let me switch back to that camera. I know that's not a pretty sight, but well, the other one's blurry. And then let me grab this. I don't know how this fits onto the logic board, but what I have here is supposed to be an 68020 upgrade. 020, yeah. For the so 16 megahertz 020 upgrade for the 8 megahertz 68,000 that's in there. Also, this has a 68881 floating point unit, which is the 68882 is kind of the standard, but 68881 does the same thing. I'm not sure what the difference is. I think one may have different memory management or something. Anyway, but so it doubles the processor speed, brings it up to a newer generation processor, and besides all that, it adds the FPU, so it should make it a lot faster. The question is, the first question is, what is obstructing me from taking this board out? It's weird. And then the second question is whether this works, because if you look at the how it's labeled here on these chips, as is $5. So I guess we're going to see. And this really does just plug in right on top of the board there. Leaves clearance for the floppy and SCSI and power connectors and everything. So it seems like there should be, yeah, there's supposed to be something over here. There's actually 2 little holes there. And there should be something there holding it up because I don't want it touching things that it probably shouldn't be. So let me see if I can fashion something to go in here to do the job of the screws that I don't have. Kind of insulating. You know what I can use? I have this nice Hacko, I don't know, silicone heat shield thing. And so inside or under here, doesn't want to come off again. Under here, there's this VLSI chip. I think if I just put this across that and the original CPU, put this back down. You know what? I've got 2 of these. Let me stack 2 of them, and then that should be the right height. There we go. And then I can, wow, that fit perfectly actually over the CPU. And then I can just set this on top of it. So this is an SE accelerator made by Radius. Yeah, look at that. It's perfectly lined up. Oh, those pieces were absolutely right. So anyway, this is made by Radius, who often made. Okay, now see, this says SE accelerator 16/25, so that suggests that probably with a jumper, or I'm not seeing a crystal on here. So is there anything on the bottom? There's nothing on the bottom. So with no crystal, I'm assuming the timing would not be replacing an oscillator. So I think I'm guessing there's 2 jumpers on here, and I'm guessing one of them is. I have a theory actually. Hold on. I'm trying to see where the speaker can. Okay, speaker's not obstructed. My guess is that one of those sets the speed. Yeah, and it says SE16. It's hard to read, but it's on that sticker. So I'm thinking this could probably be clocked up to 25, which would be interesting. But let's see if it even works. And if it doesn't work, it may just be the CPU that's not working and not that the device itself is entirely bad. So let's see what we got. I'm hoping that it's hard enough to get this board in and out without this extra thick thing on top. Oh, okay. I see this is going to be a problem. Okay. So there's this thing that sticks out of it. The thing that sticks out of it gets stuck. Wow. Okay. That is an issue. That is a serious issue. Because I can't, wow, with that thing sticking out, I can't get this anywhere near where it needs to go. So I'm wondering if they are expecting me to put the board in some other way than how it usually goes in. And these little paddle things are not working that well. Staying put. Okay. I mean, clear. This is made for an SE. So when the thing is fully in place, it just fit. Question is how you get it into place if you can't use the normal slot. I wonder if there's some other kind of adapter, physical adapter that this needs. Okay, so I'm going to take these things out because they are enraging me. And so clearly there's no way for this to be installed. It's not compatible with an SE as in its normal form. So I don't see a way to use it. It's pretty disappointing, to be honest. I thought that might work. I'm going to see if there's some way that I can try to brute force hook it up just to even see if the thing works. For what little, if anything, that's worth. And I'm not sure how I would even know which CPU it's using, honestly, because there's nothing in the System 6 disk that's going to tell me what it's using, I'm not going to get any audio out of it here because I don't think I can reach the speaker cable with the board sitting like this. Okay. Well, this is slightly underwhelming, anticlimactic, but let's see if it works even a little bit. Oh. Yeah, I guess I need to be able to plug in the keyboard, huh? Okay. I think this should be, I don't think this can short anything. I'm just trying to be sure that I'm not destroying the computer for something that may or may not even work. I guess I'll know if it doesn't work because the computer won't even turn on. I mean, I won't even get anything on the screen probably. And I don't even know if I could test, if I could time the startup with and without this thing, because most of that is going to be a function of the speed that it's reading the emulated floppy. Okay, so no chime, and definitely not a happy Mac. So yeah, a bit of a letdown, unfortunately. Switch back to this camera. Oh, wait a minute. It was garbage all over the screen, and then it cleared up. How interesting. Sorry, this is never going to look good. It is reading the disk. There's a happy Mac. So I have to assume that it's using the 020 chip, but I don't know. And without a third-party utility, I don't really know how I would determine if it sees that the FPU is present. So I guess I don't know how to know. That makes sense. So let me see if I can time the startup. Okay. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 9 1000, 10 1000, 11 1000, 15 1000, 14 1000, 16. Okay, so 16 and a half seconds to get to the desktop with no wristwatch icon. 16 and a half seconds. All right. So now, let's just see. Let's just see. Let's stay well clear of that neck board. Okay, 16 and a half seconds. I got to remember that. Again, I don't think it's going to make a big difference because I think that the floppy, emulated floppy, the speed that is reading that is really the bottleneck. And so I don't know that a faster CPU is really going to change that in any way, but we're going to try to find out. So it was so weird that it was garbage on the display until it suddenly wasn't, and then it was clean and clear. So that was interesting as well. Okay, 16 and a half seconds I counted. I should have been using an actual stopwatch, but at this point I'm getting a little bit fatigued and kind of don't care. Okay, so 16 and a half seconds. Now, in order to do a fair comparison, I have to wait until it gets the disk icon on the screen. Now, remember the lack of a chime meant nothing. Where's that camera? The lack of a chime meant nothing because I didn't have the speaker plugged in. Okay, so once I see the disk icon on the screen, then I will virtually insert the virtual disk. Okay, and 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 10 1000, 12 1000, 13 1000, 14 1000, 15 1000, 16 1000, 17. Yeah, it was like 16 and a half seconds. It was exactly the same. I don't know that that's a fair test because starting up from, at this speed from a floppy disk, it doesn't tell me much. But the fact that it worked with this plugged in, I mean, this is connected to the PDS slot, and actually I can feel. I thought that one chip was warm. It wasn't really on that long. But this was connected to the PDS slot. I assume that's what that slot is. And so, if it was able to boot, this should have been intercepting access to the 68,000 CPU. So what I really would need to test it, and I don't know where I'm going to find it on an 800K disk. I guess I could use it emulated SCSI. I'm not going to do it right now, but I could use like Norton System Info or whatever that Tattle Tech or whatever. There are things that I could use to try to see see if it's showing an FPU is present, and see if it's showing that it's a 68020 or a 68,000. So I think this thing works. I'm not positive, but I think it does, and I'm going to try to figure that one out. I think I'm going to end it here because there is not much more to do. I was hoping to get through several machines, but sorting through caps and whatnot took quite a bit of time. But anyway, this was kind of start to finish with the SE, and it does work. The screen is beautiful, and that makes me happy because the SE30 that I did the other day has burn in on it. It's not pretty. It works great, but it's not pretty. So anyway, so I will leave it there, and I will be back. This is March and Tosh, so I will be doing more content and hopefully maybe a little bit more riveting than this. I've got some other accelerator cards to test for more modern machines, so I might do that next. I think that might be a nice change from these little compact Macs. So anyway, thanks for tuning in if you did, and be sure to click like and subscribe and all of those good things. And there we go.